Joining us this morning is a distinguished guest whose work bridges languages, cultures and minds. We are delighted to welcome Dr. Asmaa Alduhaim, Assistant Professor of the Translation at GUST. Dr. Asmaa is passionate about the art and science of translation, a field that not only connects people around the world, but also preserves identity, culture and understanding across all generations. With years of academic experience and a deep insight into language studies, she continues to inspire students and promote the vital role of the translation in today's globalized world. Today we will be talking about and with Dr. Asmaa about the importance of the translation in education and communication, how technology is transforming this field, and what it truly means to be a bridge between languages. So let's welcome with us Dr. Asmaa Alduhaim. Hello, good morning.
Good morning to you too. Thank you for having me.
You are most welcome. First of all, congratulations on the World Translation Day. We'd like to know what actually this day means to you.
This is really a very important day for me personally and for all interpreters across the world and translators. It's not just a celebration, it's also a reminder to basically honor the invisible work of translators, because as everyone knows, translators are usually behind the scene. They're the heroes working out to translate books, to translate knowledge, even in like summit and political conferences in the United Nations, but they're usually their names are not really spoken or written. So this is one of the days that we actually honor this career and honor translators and interpreters across the world.
Exactly. So what does it mean to you personally?
Personally, it's actually a way to remind myself that I actually matter in this career, and that this career is actually a translator's job, an interpreter's job. It's a way to bridge culture. It's a way to bridge the world together. It's very personal to me, maybe, because in a way I have always been wanted to be an interpreter. I always wanted to be a translator. So to celebrate it and see that people actually celebrate me and my work is an amazing thing.
It's a really amazing thing. Actually, let's talk about why do you think it's important to recognize the translators?
Because one of the things that we always see is that translators have always worked behind the scene. Yeah. Without translators, we won't really have literature, we won't really have culture, we won't really have even technology and the knowledge of other societies. We won't even be able to do small things like traveling. So to honor their work, to honor their existence is actually very important for translators, because sometimes we always see people saying bilinguals can be translators, and that hurts the feelings of translators and interpreters, because to them it's my career, what I've worked for, what I studied for, is not something anyone can do. It's something that I actually work to get that status of being an interpreter and translator.
So you mentioned, Doctor, that really the translators really connect and these are really bridges for all the world.
Yes.
We'd like to know very, let's say, in specific, how it's really important to bridging all the words and all the cultures.
A very simple thing is through the drama that we actually watch. Culture, I always say culture is intertwined with language. If we watch any TV show, if we just have a literal translation without really knowing the culture or without really knowing translation and the right tools to translate this culture, the translation would be really meaningless. We won't really be able to convey the message correctly or the culture. And the important thing about culture is that each culture has its distinguished features, sometimes things that you cannot really translate. So it is the job of us as translators to find the best way to make it possible to translate it into the other language, and not just to translate it, but make it make sense and familiar to the audience as well.
Exactly. Yeah. So it's obvious that, Doctor, you are really passionate about your job. So we'd like to know your first spark to become a translator?
It's actually funny. I was watching TV and I was watching CNN as a kid, and I was just looking at the person talking and I was just mumbling things in English, and I wanted to be a translator, and I looked at my mom and I said, I want to be this, with the mic, and I didn't even recognize the fact that it was not just an interpreter, it was someone who's, just an anchor on the TV. Yeah. But I wanted to be a translator. I wanted to always share languages and interpret. Even when I was a kid, I would always say the other words words and, you know, write down words in English and then their meanings, and always carried the small little notes with me to basically translate words. It was a passion that started with me, and it grew. And it grew. Actually, it was a self-taught in the beginning, and in passion actually trans actually to what you are right now, doctor, translator, professional translator. Yeah. So of course, actually, you met so many challenges. Let's say you faced so many challenges as a translator. Would like to know about it. To be honest, translating culture and literature is way more harder than translating, let's say, scientific text or technology-related text. Because when it comes down to technology, it's a very straightforward text. There is terms and there are the meanings of those terms. But when you translate culture or when you translate literature, you have to be very much aware of that society or that culture. I mean, even here in Kuwait, we have words that might mean two different things because of the different generations. So it's also the idea of being able to be absorbed in that culture and being able to actually understand the culture. And one of the challenges is how to convey the meaning in another culture. Maybe a word that doesn't even exist in that culture. Maybe a context that doesn't even exist in that culture. And we have so many different examples, whether from our country and our region in Arab countries or in the Western societies. And sometimes that culture shock, it's very hard for a translator to basically convey. Especially actually the sense of humor. Yes. Yes. The US is different from UK, it's different from all, because maybe it's really the meaning, if you translate it perfectly, is going to be a really formal, let's say, sentence. So it's really a hard job. Poetry, very hard to translate because we use metaphor from our own culture, which might be something similar here. I mean, something nice here, like, you know, the beauty of rain. However, in the UK, it might be something completely bad, you know, it's like a bad day. Yeah, exactly. So this is something that we always like. It's something that is an obstacle to us as translators. Culture and what metaphors are in culture, what humor is. Like stand-up comedy is one of the most difficult things to translate because the comedy or the humor is within that society, and it's very hard to translate it. Yes, exactly. So, Doctor, do you think translators should adapt cultural references for the target audience to keep them as they are? Sometimes it actually depends on the purpose of the translation. So, if we are translating, let's say, poetry or humor, and the purpose is to show the culture, to showcase the culture that we are from and why we use these terminologies, or if it's a book, then we can have a footnote, we can explain, and that's like something we can do. But sometimes you have to adopt it completely and just change it. So many different shows that we actually change terminologies. We change even the context itself to make it more familiar to the audience that we are entertaining in the language that we're translating to, simply because they will not be aware of that culture, they will not be aware of that context. And if we translate similarly, like literally word for word, it would not really make sense, and it won't carry the same feelings that you have in the language that we're translating from. So, Doctor, what do you think about technology? Is really beneficial for all the translators? It is beneficial, but at the same time, it's like a two-edged weapon. Basically, we have AI, and we have so many different like computer-assisted translation tools that actually assist translators. But I always tell the students, it is assisting you. It will never think for you, because if it's culture, if it's literature, if it's anything related to what we say in like spoken language, it is very hard to translate using AI, because AI like has, you know, certain words, and then they will translate it like a dictionary. Like when you open a dictionary, there is a word and its meaning, but you choose which meaning you will follow up. And that's the beauty of AI. It's actually there to assist you, like grammatically. Maybe sometimes when you have like writer's block, we have translator's block, and sometimes you're completely blocked and you have no idea how to rephrase the sentence. So we actually do use it to help us rephrase a sentence, or make sure that the sentence is clear, the clarity of it, or maybe give me synonyms for that word, stuff like that. Well, that's really an amazing. Actually, we cannot get rid of true translation, human being, and AI. It's really helpful for all the majors, all the fields. But the human being, it will be the first. Forever. Forever. Yeah. Thank you so much, Doctor, for joining us. It was really an inspiring story and beautiful. Thank you so much. Thank you very much. Big thanks and appreciation to our dear guest, Dr. Asmaa Alduhaim. She's Assistant Professor of the Translation at GUST. Don't go away, dear viewers. Let's have the stand till the break, and then we'll move on.